Councillor Carr, questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have some questions for staff. First of all, I'd like to know which of the public concerns that were raised during the hearings could be addressed in the design phase and which couldn't. I'm going to list them, but I just need a yes, this can be addressed in design phase, or no, that means we have to send it back for redesign. Height. Can it be addressed in the design phase?
Not without affecting. Can't hear you.
Can you speak more loudly, please?
Is that mic on now?
Yeah, it's on
Yes.
now.
Not without affecting your community amenity contribution.
Okay. Density?
Similarly, not without affecting the CAC.
Okay. The design not being iconic, as per the plan?
That is part of the development permit process, and we anticipate going through that should you decide to approve the result.
Okay. The lack of permeability in terms of access to the public to public space, etc.
It's, in our estimation, it's too great a change to the development and still deal with the same rezoning. If that is council's desire, then our suggestion is that we would likely be looking at a different kind of project.
Okay. The treatment of Watson Street as a special street, like Mobile, I'm using wording from the plan.
Yes, that's absolutely part of the development process, and we anticipate changes to Watson Street facade.
Okay, some concerns that still remain on the bike lane and on the egress and access points and truck traffic impacting the bike lane.
Yes, that is part of the development process, and we dealt with them.
Okay, thank you. I have one other question. Bonus to the developer, in terms of height and density, in exchange for CAC's community and amenity contributions. When did that policy of trading off giving more height and density in exchange for community amenity contributions, either on site or in cash contributions? Can you give me a feel for the legacy? That when did that policy come into the city?
Do you want to take that, Mike?
It's been around for as long as I have been, which is 10 years and longer than that. So I'm not exactly sure when it came in. Mr. McCollum, do you know? Exactly. 80s, 90s? We're kind of guessing. We can get back to you with a policy response, but it's been around for a very long time.
Okay. And are there other ways in which a city can get money for community development other than contributions based on developer receiving bonuses in the form of increased density or height?
Well, not without partnering with higher levels of government. I think if you're looking at finding ways to deliver amenities for a local government that are not within a capital plan, that is the methodology that Vancouver has used for decades.
Okay, other cities?
You know, I can comment on what their approach is. I do know that I think Vancouver's is going progressive in that vein of leveraging those kinds of funds for those sorts of local amenities. I know that doesn't exist in certain other cities, and I think several of them are envious of the Vancouver system and what we've been able to achieve over the last several decades.
Mr. McClellan?
If I could supplement the response that was given by city staff, I should note that development cost levies are charged for development. That's a system that's much like what other municipalities have in the form of development cost charges, but they're limited to particular types of services. In the case of Vancouver, it's for replacement housing, for childcare, for various types of engineering works. We have those similar charges at the regional level for sewer infrastructure and the like. There are other opportunities for negotiation that happen through the zonings typically in other municipalities in the province. We have a rigor to our community amenity contribution system, which is probably much unlike the others because there's a systematic approach to it. Others, it's much more of a negotiated effort on an individual basis because they typically don't deal with the volume that we have to deal with it. And in the States, United States, there are various other implications that are used because of the increased powers that municipal governments have versus their Canadian counterparts. So there are other models that are in use in other cities, but we try to exercise all the tools that we have available to us under current legislation.
Okay. Thank you. And other than the community, so I understand development levies and permit levies and the community amenity contributions. But other than those, it is through the public discussion around a capital plan and the public actually acknowledging in terms of funding, and then that gets funded through, obviously, the leverage of taxes on property. That's the other basis for delivering community amenities, correct?
That's correct. In our capital plan, we note that some of the money is borrowed money that we pay back over time for our operating budget. Some of it is collected through our community amenity contributions and through our development cost levies, and those are allocated through our capital budgeting systems. So our capital budget relies on several sources of revenue in addition to taxation, like CACs and UCLs for our capital expenditures.
Mr. Mayor and Council, maybe I can just add, Council, the 10-year capital outlook that we presented to Council in the last year, with which we align our 3-year capital plans, it's fundamental that all of these different sources, that as much as possible when we negotiate CACs, that it reflects both the community plans and the ongoing capital outlook of the needs of the city. These things come together, and these negotiations aren't just based on, just a one-off, what somebody thinks might be a good thing. It should all line up with council policy, the 10-year capital plan, and then, the needs of the local community as it relates to those capital needs. So it's as coherent as we can possibly make it.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Councillor Carr.